Hey everyone, I'm gonna try something new here and record on my iPad. Hopefully the audio's gonna do okay with you. And yeah, so did a painting finally, like a legit painting, not just like some study or something, which studies are important, of course, but it's nice to actually have finished something. At least for the most part, it's finished. You know how art pieces go. You can always keep rendering, and I could probably definitely push this more, but I think with it I've said everything I needed to. Um yeah. It was an enjoyable one. But the you would think painting hundreds of bricks would be tedious and boring, but mm, the way I managed to do it didn't feel that way. You can see here I'm starting to add some actual bricks. And there's a lot of implied detail here, um, especially at first. And I think that's what keeps me motivated because I'm not really trying too hard to really get in there and render each brick. So I keep thinking like it's not going to take too long. So I'm not spending too much time on every brick. And if I did, then I wouldn't even paint the base. So, and I think that's probably what helps me stick with art more often. Um, a lot of people, they'll paint in high school or whatever, and then they'll, graduate and kind of go off and do other things and never really do art anymore. And maybe that's because they just didn't find the enjoyable way for them. Like maybe it was always just work. And for me, when I'm doing art, there's a work time and a creative time, and this one was more of the creative time, and so I stayed interested in the piece. Um, I wasn't uh worrying about are these blocks even. Does this even structurally sound? The fact that it's kind of decrepit already and already fallen apart really helps with the I don't know. The first word I was thinking of was sloppy, but it's kind of messy. Um, but I like that. You can see that I'm not really like I'm detailing right now, but it's nothing like really zoomed in kind of detailed work. It's just adding lines. And then that's how I figured out a lot of the bricks. One, I had a reference, but two, I was making sure all the lines were shooting into that vanish point. The just a simple single point perspective, and then yeah, you slowly start adding a few bricks here, a few bricks there, not really paying attention too much in one spot, and then you use edges. Here's a little texture brush, just throwing in some abstractness with the intention of painting over top of it, and some of that abstraction will remain, and some of it will get hidden completely. But yeah, crap. What was I saying? Oh yeah, edges. So I use edges to, hard and soft and lost. You put a few bricks in with the hard edges, and then it's like, am I going to paint another brick next to it? And it can be a little tricky because if you put one like little brick there all by itself, then it's going to stand out. But if you put a few bricks there and then use some soft edges and kind of lost edges to smooth it out, it's not as jarring. So you can get away with more implied detail that way. And then you can see how when it goes into the background, Like I really like amp that up and start getting pretty loose with it. But still like maintaining that line direction where it's shooting off into the background of using the perspective guides. Ugh. All right. I think that's enough. I'm like out of breath for some reason. I think I just want to like speak in like clear, complete sentences and every word that comes out of my mouth is like to perfection. And then I get so worked up on doing that I forget to breathe. That and after COVID, it was my breathing's been weird since, but it's definitely gotten better. Um, yeah, yep, some crazy time we're living in. It's uh, it's definitely good to have a hobby right now. Like art is a great escape. So is video games. I'm playing a lot of video games. Of course, you guys know that I'm a Beat Saber fan, but I can't play that right now because I played it for 2.5 hours straight the other day, and I ended up hurting my neck and shoulder. Like after I finished the game, it I was feeling great, but then I went to bed. I woke up in the middle of the night with just like this shooting pain in my back. I'm like, what the heck? I probably should have stretched. It probably could have been avoided if I just stretched, but whatever. So that's 30 for you. But yeah, I recommend doing something like this. Like paint a shit ton of bricks, and it especially if you're like, I don't know, like I've been stressed out a lot lately with the shape of the world, and my buddy, like my mentor, recently passed away. He was an incredible artist, just super talented. And anytime I'd finish a piece like this, I'd go and show him and try to get his feedback on. And I don't know, I guess I miss him, and it's just the last couple of months have been really rough. So when I paint a piece like this, um, you get in the flow where you're not really thinking about anything. I love that movie that Pixar Disney just came out with, Soul or something like that, and they talk about the flow state. Like I really like their version of that because like, the guy like spinning the sign is like this super like uh I don't know, he's just like really like in this flow state that he can like talk to people from out of this world or like dead people or whatever. All right, so I haven't seen the movie in like a year, but it's funny and you guys get it. But yeah, a painting like this where you can just turn it off for a bit and just get in there and do what you need to do and paint. Add in the cat now. Didn't know if I wanted the cat at first, but I felt like it needed some kind of subject besides the bricks. It's always nice to have some kind of familiar, like animal or human or some kind of character in there. So, what better than a cat hanging out in these abandoned? Uh, I don't know what this is actually. Probably a bridge or something. Anyways, uh, then I wanted to try to separate them from the background. And I was talking to Noah Bradley about this, and he said like it's important to keep your everything kind of separated. Like that's what he would say, like to like a beginner, like try to have clear values and clear structure. But sometimes you may want to hide something in, and so I was fighting with this one because I didn't know whether or not to how much I wanted to hide him in, and but I think I got a good balance where he's kind of a second read. Like first you look like maybe down the center, and then you're kind of looking at the bricks, and then you're kind of like, oh, there's a cat there. So it's like it's more of a fun thing where he's not necessarily the focal point. So I think uh I think that works pretty good. A lot of people would want like the human characters or animals to be like the subject, and I guess I think I was more interested in the architecture and all that to be the more the subject. Anyways, yeah. So that's the painting, and I guess that's the little bit of knowledge that I have right now. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.